Hi, welcome to SBRForum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are previewing UFC 162 right now with returning guest Nick Kalikas, professional MMA odds maker from MMAoddsbreaker.com, and Reed Kuhn, the fight scientist from Fightnomics.com. All right, guys, let's talk about an interesting, kind of a strange fight to have on the main card. Roger Gracie and Tim Kennedy. Right now I'm seeing Kennedy at minus 150 as a small favorite, Gracie plus 130 on the other side. Both these guys coming from Strikeforce, and of course, Gracie has not that great stand-up. He's basically a ground game fighter, and Kennedy will, try to get the knockout here. Kennedy's never been subbed, so I'm not exactly sure what I think about this. Could Kennedy, get the knockout here? Probably. I'm not sure. Nick Kalikas, where'd you open this line?
I opened exactly pick them around 120 each way. Now
Really?
you're seeing the betting line around 140, 150-ish for Tim Kennedy. So the betting public it's actually, they had two-way action back and forth initially, but now a little bit more steady action coming in on Tim Kennedy. And I understand why. I mean, you just said it yourself. Gracie, pretty much everybody, the only shot he has is getting to the floor, maybe submitting Tim Kennedy. Tim Kennedy has not been subbed before. So that's the advantage that he probably doesn't have if he can't get it to the floor, because Kennedy on the feet obviously can pick him apart. Right. So everybody's banking the fact that Kennedy will keep it up and probably get the win that way. And I think he can too. I mean, he's definitely showed good takedown defense. He's hard to keep down once you do get him down. And like you said, as far as the grappling goes, he hasn't been subbed before as well. But here's the problem. I think Gracie, since he made his drop to 185, he's probably not getting enough respect as he should. I mean, the guy has a little bit of unorthodox takedowns. I mean, he puts you up against the cage, but he does manage to get the fight to the floor more times than not. Even if he struggles early on, he ends up finding his spot and getting those takedowns. And on the floor, he will have an advantage. Even though Kennedy's a great grappler, he will have the advantage. So that's why the fight is a little bit close, because you always got to respect not just the Gracie name from the betting public out there, but even the sharp bettors out there. They know that what both these guys are all about, and they tend to come in on Gracie as well.
All right. Reed Kuhn from Fightnomics.com. This strikes me as a kind of fight where your insights could shed a lot of light on value. You've got two fighters, very competitive line, but maybe, when you look at the numbers, one fighter should have a significant edge. Is that how you're seeing this?
Well, I see it actually pretty close because they show up as very similar on the stat line. And I think the difference here is not Tim Kennedy's stand-up and his takedown defense, which is good. His takedown defense is actually very good, so he probably can dictate where this fight goes. I think it's his brute strength. I happen to be a good friend of Tim's. I know him pretty well, and there is nothing as intimidating as shaking someone's hand who can probably crush you like a bug. Tim Kennedy is that kind of strong brute, and he's an animal in the gym. Everybody knows it. He's also very intelligent, and we talk about his career in the Special Forces a lot. He is a very smart guy, and he is going to have very particular attacks planned out for this kind of a matchup because he is at a size disadvantage.
Right.
Gracie has a very clear attack plan of try to get this on the ground and work submissions. I'm looking for Kennedy to exploit that. Do not be surprised to have Kennedy find his way to Gracie's back and TKO with volume on the ground, which is what he's done in a lot of fights. And he's also submitted people who have never been submitted before. So Kennedy is dangerous all over the place. I'm leaning Kennedy, and I think it's the strength factor that overcomes the skill and the pedigree of the Gracie name, because I think Gracies are highly skilled. That's what they're used to. They survive in the best of the best environment. They do very well, but they probably don't have the same kind of conditioning and strength that Kennedy is going to have. Somehow, some way, Kennedy gets through this one. It may be by decision. It may be just out wrestling, outworking. But I think Kennedy eventually gets the call.
I kind of like that. I kind of agree with it. Kennedy minus 150 somehow, some way. Nick Kalikas, have you gotten a lot of action on this fight?
It all depends. I mean, early on, obviously, limits aren't as big as they do on fight day. So, yeah, they've gotten some decent little action, if you want to say early on. But this fight should be a good one as well. And I could see it really playing out so many different ways. I mean, common sense says that Tim Kennedy should be able to do enough on the feet to win this fight. But, man, I'm just really am concerned about Gracie's takedowns. Even though he's not a great wrestler, he does have the ability to get the fight to the floor. And Kennedy has been put on his back by, I guess, lesser grapplers in the past. So even though they can't keep him there and his takedown defense is good, I think that Gracie might make this an ugly, slow down the pace type of fight. And if that's the case, judges are so bad that they might, even though if Tim Kennedy wins it by decision, and most of us think he won it by decision, you never know. I mean, if it's an ugly, slow type of fight, I think that they could, you could see Gracie maybe steal a decision as well. Right. So it's just one of those fights that I'm really cautious about, because my head tells me Tim Kennedy should get the W here. I mean, he should have a significant advantage. But as I did my research, and with Gracie's grappling and takedown ability and making it, like I said, a slow, ugly fight, it kind of scares me off a little bit.
Right. All right. So it sounds like you're going to get decent action on both ways and won't be a risky fight for you. Thanks, guys.